Hello. Hello. Yet again. It's me once more talking into a microphone. And talking about things that I think about. I think this is a rather good and healthy way of conveying the thoughts I have in my everyday life. Um, Out, just in general. I talk to myself all the time. Anybody who knows me personally knows that is a fact about me, in any form or fashion, that is. Anybody that knows me to a significant personal level knows that I talk to myself on a regular basis. So this is just a really good way of projecting those thoughts out into something, I guess, more feasible. I think I talked about this at the end of the last one too. So kind of drawing itself all back together. That's really dark. Wow. I don't know if I like the light more or the darkness more in this case. Either way, um, you know, I'm wearing a bucket hat right now. It's a fun fact. I don't wear hats normally. Bucket hats are largely defensible, though, I will say, because they're able to be placed on my head and are able to sit on my hair without heavily contorting my hair unless I'm pushing it down. Pushing it down. That was funny. That happened a lot last night with a lot of my words and my T's, my P's, and my B's. They all were accelerated in the mic when I was listening back to it. It was kind of funny. Yeah, I like bucket hats. I started wearing them because I watched Glass Onion like last month or something, and Jessica Hennick's character Peg was wearing them. I was like, those look cool. I want to wear them. Yeah, that's where that happened. And now I want a red one. I want a purple one. I want a blue one too. I want another black one. The black one I have on right now is a bucket hat that has money on the forefront of it. So I turned it inside out so I could have the black part out instead. Because I like black more than I like money. It's like, especially aesthetic wise. Sometimes it kind of makes me look goofy, I think, but other times I'm like, this is chill. I look cool in my opinion. I think it looks cool. Um, I've also started to notice, changes physically too. Like I started going to the gym a lot with my friends, routinely. They're both in drum corps, so they're just getting prepared for the summer season. I just decided to tag along. I was like, going to the gym with people sounds like a good idea. I never really did that before. I just kind of went on my own, and so, even if I was successful for like a month and a half, I just like peter off, and I just would not keep going anymore. It's a lot harder to do it on your own because, if you get bored, regardless of how dedicated you are, you can just drop off. Some niggas are able to push beyond that. They're able to just like go, and they're able to like persevere through that. But you know what I'm saying? I can barely persevere through the day half the time. So, going to the gym, if I have just an incremental thought that's like, nah, bro, I don't feel like going today. I can make every excuse in the book not to go, basically. But when there's a commitment with other people, I'm like, dang, these niggas are expecting me to be there. They're waiting for me oftentimes. They don't get started until I'm there. So I'm like, I gotta go. And it's worked out. And, I've seen some results physically with that too, which is great. The hard thing is going to be like in the summer, but I'm probably going to try and coerce Mike to work out with me so that I can work. Good times. Yeah, that was cool. I think generally, as time goes on, I gotta like loosen up a bit. I will say that I see that happening sometime in the future because, I started a new job recently at another coffee shop. I'm a barista yet again. and the niggas I'll be working with, they're characters. But like, there's like, I feel like everybody has a goofy side to them. It's just like a bit strange, I guess, in everyday average society, right? Where like, you have your random outbursts or your like silly voices that you go into. If you don't do this, I mean, I guess you're a weird one. But I tend to put that away because I'm like, if I be silly goofy, niggas they don't want to be near me. I think it's also part of that like blending in thing too, because I change my vernacular a lot wherever I'm at. I mean, I go to a PWI, son, so I'm not gonna be. I don't. I mean, as regular as it is in my vocabulary, I don't be using nigga a lot in my everyday speech. I also wouldn't say don't be regularly. Also, code switching type deal. Right, there's that like subconscious thing that it's gonna get me more brownie points, and while like maybe in the short term, or for some people it might, what Uncle Ruckus said was true. No matter how hard you try, you always gonna be a nigga, and that's just how it is, right? So it also translates into other parts of me too, right? There's outside of the obvious racial context of that, because that can apply to any person of a discriminated minority, right? That's like coded on them, right? Whether that's black people, POCs, trans people that are have some features that are make them distinguishably trans, I guess. It kind of makes them a bit more of a target in the public eye, which can become increasingly dangerous as time goes on. But taking it outside of its agitated political context, just into my everyday like social fabric, people are going to have to be around me regardless, right? The niggas that are going to associate themselves with me are going to associate themselves with me regardless if I'm making silly voices or not. I'll be switching in accents too from time to time. It's like all the time, really. So it's just like that. I'll be doing that, or just talking to myself out loud, just like a little bit louder, pretty much. But I still get that knee-jerk reaction to halt myself from doing that, even in company where it feels more welcomed. And it's just a struggle. It's a battle that I have to fight through. So, that's just me though. Still. God. Man. So I'm working on this flugelhorn piece that I got, and then I decided to make. I think it sounds really cool so far. I think it'll be really, really cool. I'm gonna need some very sophisticated players for it, just because of its range and whatnot. I haven't really experimented in like developing technical pieces. I think it's just range wise, it's really gonna be that, and like sometimes counting. Right, accelerandos are very much so, something else to like be warranted about. But that's anybody at this level that like I'm gonna be having like collegiate musicians a lot of the time, or maybe like a high schooler or two. There aren't many high schoolers that I like associate with now, or like know super super well that I'd be like, yeah, let me get them to do this. I think, let me see. 1, 2, 3. I know 3 trumpet players that I know that I could get. See, it's just another one, right? Because one person would be playing flugel, and then the other 3 would be playing trumpet, but all the parts, like, they all have high C's, so it's like that's got to be reliable in your range. Um, you know, I know at least three trumpet players that I can get to do that are still in school with me. So um, outside of that, it's hard to say. Um, but I think it's coming along really well. Um, I think I honestly want to keep it in a major key the entire time. So right now, where it's ended, it's modulated to the relative minor. So it's an E flat major, concert E flat major, and then it modulates at the end of the most recent section to C minor, which is the relative minor of E flat major. But I'm thinking I might just like not do that. I might make it modulate to like the fourth, which is A flat, or to the because I wanted to do part of it in like the pentatonic scale too, right? Where like using that, the melody itself isn't taken in the pentatonic scale, but there have been forms that I put it in that have used the pentatonic scale, or I could shift it up a step, etc. etc. Like there are different things that I could do because it's like leap, leap, step, leap type deal. So it can just be in a different form, and just like use the pentatonic scale. I really like that scale a lot. It's very useful. Just five notes too, but you can, I mean, across the entire, all the octaves, and just like a blend of harmony. I think what I want to work on next after this, maybe in tandem, like alongside this, not necessarily that they're going to be related, but like work on. I was thinking like a violin quartet, but I think it would just be easier to do string quartet using the pentatonic scale, probably in the key of F. That's where my mind's going. I think it'd be cool, and I think strings probably handle the pentatonic scale and in my opinion the best because they're just really really nice there. It's like strings and flute, just immaculate. Uh, those are like my two favorite in that too. So yeah.